Hello everyone. Today we're going to work on getting this amplifier installed into this truck with the speaker box that we built and get it wired up and get it booming. So follow us along and I'll show you how we do it. So first thing we're going to do is start on the passenger side. When we did the install on the other truck, we learned a lesson about the automatic noise canceling system in these. It needs to be disconnected, otherwise it will make a tremendous whomp noise while you're driving and listening to the subwoofer. So we're going to take this off and I'll show you where it is. It's behind the glove box, kind of up here. Let me get the glove box. I'll kind of show you how to get it off. Just let me grab some tools and we'll get going. Okay, so first things we need to do, we need to get this side panel out. I started it already with the panel popper. It's kind of hard to hold the camera and do that at the same time, but get the panel popper under here, pop this out. That panel comes off. This upper panel, again, start with the panel popper in here, and then it kind of just works off and out. Sometimes they're a little tight, especially if they've not been off before. This one I think's been off once. And we're also going to pull this bottom panel out. Just got to find a place to grab, and that comes right out. We're not going to take it all the way off because we don't need to bother unplugging that. But we do need to, need to finesse this a little bit here with two hands to get this off. Kind of put the camera here. Hopefully you can still see. There we go. Just need a little extra help there. And then there is a screw here, 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 and then there is, I gotta remember, it's been a little bit since I've had these off. There's a 10mm bolt there and a 10mm bolt there. We'll get those off and then we will get going. Glove box comes out. It's got to pinch the sides. Grab that one off. They're not exactly machine thread. They're kind of a screw thread in there. They go into an aluminum reinforcement. That one out. That back in there. Now this should just come out in one piece. Oh, missed a screw. So there were 4 screws, not 3 screws. Like I said, it's been a bit since I've had one of these out, so one more down here on the side. And then there's a light. We just twist and turn and it comes out. And then there's the plug for the trunk lock right here. I'll show you. We've got the plug for the trunk lock right there. Just push it in and turn it out. And then we twist and take out that for the light. Now the glove box can be kind of set aside here temporarily. And we'll go up in here and I'll show you what we're looking for. It should be this box right here. I'm going to drop this bolt out of here. We're going to make sure that that's the box we're looking for before we randomly go unplug things. That's where the box was on the other one. That should be the box. I'm going to double check that part number before I go and unplug anything. We'll come right back to you. Okay, so yes, verified that is the ANC active noise control module. Like I said, we just unplug it to disable it. And then we will plug it, we'll bolt it back in so that if we ever go back and take the subwoofer out, we can reconnect it. We, as of yet, have not heard a difference. We did drive the other one around with it unplugged, with the subwoofer off and on, and did not hear any difference in the vehicle. So Honda says it does something to help noise when in cylinder management mode, but we have not noticed a difference. As you see, it's easier two-handed, but I'm trying to show you what I'm doing here. So that's unplugged. I'm going to put the glove box back together, and then we will get on with the wiring. And for those of you that actually want to get at the core of these things, we're not getting that involved. We're just adding a subwoofer using the wires that are in the back. But this is the amplifier right here that actually controls the stereo system. But let me get the glove box back in here and we will go from there. Get our plug back in. Get our light back on. And then it kind of snaps back into place initially. Gonna go ahead and put the bottom piece back in here. When you're putting this bottom piece back in, there's a couple of little slots that go into, and then it goes up and clips into the bottom of the glove box. Go ahead and put our screws back in. Now our 10mm bolts. Get that started. Put that one in. Glove box back up. Anything that fell out, put back in. Now we'll get this panel put back on. This just snaps back in. That's all back on. the side panel back on. And there, we've now disabled the noise control, and now we're going to run the power cable into the cab. We'll show you how that's done. Okay, so we've got our power cable here we're going to run from the battery, and then we're going to run it into this gap inside the fender, because inside here in the fender well, just behind the kick panel, there is a grommet that's not used for anything that we can use, and we're going to use that to run it in. But first things first, that looks okay. I just need to get a 10 millimeter and we'll bolt that to that, but we're not going to bolt that there until after we have run the cable, because we don't need any grounding. It's got a fuse, but we don't want to blow the fuse prematurely, just in case. But let me get the fender liner apart. I'll show you how that goes. Okay, we're going to start by taking these screws off to get the mud flap loose. And then there's another screw up here we're going to take loose to get this fender flare trim thing off. And then we can pull back the fender liner piece to get to the grommet. That's off. Put those 3 screws there. And then we're going to take this one screw off up here. We're going to pull this out a little bit here so we can get the fender liner going here. Looks like we knocked a couple clips loose, so we'll have to get those out and fix those. These are simple. We just got to pop them out and then slide them back in there, and they'll go back in. And I will get the other one out of there before we are done. Fender liner comes down very simply. And then I believe we need to go to the other side and take that plastic piece out there, because the grommet's on the other side of that plastic piece. That way we will get it all set. First thing I'm going to do now that I got that out is we're going to drop the cable down into here so I can get it. Just got to find the cable up under here. It's going to be a bit into the fender area. Right there. Go ahead and pull that all the way through. And make sure we leave enough up here so that I can connect this to that. We'll leave that much in there, so we've got enough to still connect my cables together. And then we will go pop this other piece out, and then we'll continue running the cable to the back of the truck. Okay, so part of the running of this cable, we need to pull this, the thresholds off, front and rear. this taken off. And then we'll finish running that cable through. Get the floor mat out of our way. And yes, we need to vacuum. This off of here. And all this stuff just pops off. No secret to it. It just kind of comes off and around. Get it around the footer race here. Like I said, it just pops off. And then we're gonna, this extra grommet where we run throughs up in here somewhere. And we're gonna find our grommet and we're gonna get it running through, and then I'll show you what we got. Here's where the grommets are. There's the screwdriver. Poke through that grommet. And we tie the rope to the screwdriver, the core of the power wire to the screwdriver. We're going to try and pull this through into the cab of the truck very carefully. But we put a hole in that grommet. And now we just gotta feed this through here. Whoops, didn't work so good. We need to try that again. So the screwdriver pulled out of the tape. We're gonna try that again. Okay, we're gonna try this a little different this time. We connected the screwdriver inside the insulation of the cable now, and we're gonna tape it together like that. I think it was not coming through because it was too thick. So we're gonna go inside now and pull that through into the cab. The grommet popped out a little bit, but we just need to, once we get this through here, we can put the grommet back in and reset the grommet into the car. It's coming through. We just need a little more finesse on here. Probably had I put a little WD-40 or something on there, it would have come through easier. Okay, third time's a charm, right? Put a little WD-40 on it this time. And there, it comes right through. We'll get it pulled through and get going to the next step. Okay, so this is running through the wiring grommet up here now. Grommet's back in place. We won't have any water intrusion because we use the factory grommet. We're going to get this all tucked back up, get everything back on here, get the fender liner back in, get the trim back on, and then we'll get going on the interior. Okay, our next step up front, we've got our cable run in, and before we run the cable, we're going to install our base control knob and run the base control knob wire with the power cable, and then we'll get to the amplifier install. But right now we're going to get this mounted. I'll show you where we do it. We're going to put this base control knob right on the bottom of this panel here. It'll screw right in there, and then we'll run the cable along with that. So let's get this screwed in here, and then we'll get running cable. Okay, so we've went ahead and ran the cable from up under the dash under the seatbelt area into the back of the truck here. I'm going to get the front plastic stuff put back in, and then we'll proceed to the back. Okay, so we're back here. We got this almost all put back together here. Trash. We're going to take the floor mats out. We took the piece out of the other side for the threshold. We're going to take the floor mats out of our way. Because we got to take the back seat out. Pull this up and out too, just so it's out of the way. If that just pops off, truck's basically snapped together. And then to get the back seat out, we need to pull these plastic panels off of here, and then there's 14mm bolts at the brackets we will take off. Then the seat goes up, and then we're going to bring it forward to get it off and out of here. That's simply how those come off. Those just come off, and then these come straight out like so, and then these are your 14mm here. There's 14mm under there. I'll show you those in a moment. So this piece comes off just like the other one. Just comes straight out. This one comes straight out. This comes off. Just kind of clips in here. Just some clips. Not real tough. Now we need to unbolt this. And then we need to unbolt these four here. And then these on each side, and I will do that, and then I will get some help and we will move this seat. Okay, so I got those two bolts out already. I'm going to take these ones out here. There's four. When you take these out, you'll notice that these should be longer than those. I may be backwards, but two of them are longer. See, that one's shorter. Shorter ones go in the bottom. Seat belts are kind of attached to that bracket, so they won't come off. Then we got that is the bolts that hold that seat in. And then we got to get this one seat belt undone. There. That way we can kind of come all the way forward. I did forget one thing. I'll show you on the other side. So once you unbolt this, it's easier to move the seat if you pull it up and out of the way and kind of put it behind here. That way the seat will move freely once it pops up out of the way. We'll put it up there for now. And now we'll go get some help and we'll move this seat. Then I'll show you. So here's the amplifier we're putting in. Kicker CXA 800.1. You can use high or low level inputs. If you're using the high level inputs, it has a automatic turn on, so we don't need to run a trigger wire so that when we turn the key on, power comes on. It just turns on when we turn on the radio. And then we use these wired into the speaker wire, the factory speaker wire for that. And then we make sure that this is set for high level input, and then we connect the speaker wires to the side. I'm going to show you how we do that. We got the seat out now. Let's see if I can get a little light on here. Got the seat out now. That actually is the inverter for the rear power outlet. That is the factory subwoofer, which you can barely even hear in these things. Power window motor for the back power window. Seat belts and so forth. I did forget, I'll have to mention this, when I took the seat out, I forgot to unplug this cord. This has rear heated seats, which the other Ridgeline does not have, so I forgot to unplug that, but it was a minor detail. We just unplugged it and we're good, and that plug goes right here on the seat, and we will get this wired up and I will show you how we're doing. Okay, so I've got the cables run here underneath this plastic here, coming around behind the inverter right here. We've added the ground cable. There was a nice factory ground right here that we just pulled that bolt out and connected that ground cable that I have to there. So now we have the two ground cables and the subwoofer control wire all run to here. Amplifier is going to go right here. I need to figure out polarity on the subwoofer over there so that we can tie into those wires, and then we are going to get some more wiring done. Okay, so here's our connector from our factory amplifier. We know from looking at the Honda schematic the red is actually positive, the white is negative. We're going to T-tap into that. We're going to leave this unplugged because we don't need the factory subwoofer functioning. I'll get it T-tapped because I need both hands, and then I'll show you what I've done. Okay, so this is how we tied into the factory subwoofer wire. Just T-tapped in, connect to the T-taps, and then we ran the wire over to where the amplifier is. So we're going to get the amplifier wired up next and show you how we're doing. Okay, everyone, so we've got the subwoofer is in here now. It is run there and connected here. Power wires are connected. Everything's hooked up. We've got the power now connected to the battery under the hood. This is all good, ready to go. We're going to turn it on and see if it works. Okay, we're all cleaned up. The amplifier is on and lit up, and it works. I can't play any music for you because of copyright rules on YouTube, but it works. It sounds tremendous. I will get it all buttoned up here, and we will give it another try.